Hey guys, Darren here. I'm actually here with a quick, short and sweet episode. Solo. I'm going to give you guys an explanation on what this is, but for now, no, this is Now Loading Podcast Quick Byte. We've got a couple plans. Just with the way our schedules work out, it's just really not like super easy for us to always have a consistent recording schedule. So I'm going to take some time and actually do some like mini episodes and some kind of like focused like themes and all that stuff of just like solo episodes, kind of designed around like 15-minute time limits so that you can listen to them like on like little work breaks and things like that. And I'll be releasing those as kind of like quick bites in between all the episodes and stuff. I might respond to some feedback or play like voicemail messages there. I might just have like a random thought or topic I want to kind of share to encourage more feedback and, like voicemail messages and responses and stuff. And that's where like weekly and multiple times weekly, we can bounce back and forth and kind of converse together as listeners and us hosting it. Rich is going to do his own little design thing that he'll eventually get up and running and have his little solo moments as well, all in between us putting out the like main kind of most important content, those hour-long episodes that are, both us bantering back and forth together and having our conversations and letting them kind of evolve around those main ideas. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to do rolling forward. So while I've got this episode going today, while I've got this microphone in front of me, I'm going to go ahead and respond to two outdated voicemail messages that we had, and then maybe just kind of randomly have a topic to spur some more conversation on. So let's listen to one of those last messages we got here. This one was from, I believe, this one was from Ryan Lau. Here we go.
Hey, Now Loading Podcast. Glad to hear you guys back again. I needed something to listen to while I'm at work. Monday to Friday. So really quick, just wanted to comment on games we're hyped up for. And, well, man, this is the doozy. BlizzCon just ended, and for those who don't know, they just announced classic servers. Now, not necessarily a new game, not even necessarily a game release. I don't even know what to call it, but, man, I mean, Darren, you remember my last time I gushed about Warcraft and my addiction. So that is actually what I'm super hyped about. I'm super hyped for classic servers. It's, basically the game starts over from the very beginning when they released Warcraft in like 2004 or something. And just the nostalgia factor alone is just getting my blood pumped, man. Can't wait to play that. It's kind of the same vein, something like how you talked about, L.A. Noire, obviously not that old, but it's just awesome sometimes to go back to have these games that we played, years and years ago, and we have like new knowledge or, like new hardware and stuff and just all these ideas with it. So yeah, World of Warcraft Legacy server, man. Can't wait to play on that.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. I like you referenced that we're back again, and then we went and disappeared on you guys a little bit, and now we're back again. So maybe we'll get another response like this from you. But yeah, thanks for the call. I like that announcement of that classic Warcraft 2. I'm not a fan of the game like we've talked about before. I've never played them, but I think it's a cool concept to like give people that option to kind of still go back and play that vanilla experience before it evolved into the game that it is now. Because for an online MMO, well, is that redundant? Online MMO? Yeah, probably. But for a game of that nature, it's designed to evolve and grow with the player base and add new features and functionality and concepts and stuff as it progresses, and to give you more to do with these established characters, but be able to kind of go back and start over from the beginning, back when it was kind of a different designed game, and before these other games could kind of influence it and push it to do different things. You're going to be able to kind of start all over again and see that kind of in retrospective. Like, it's kind of neat. It kind of goes along with that remakes and remaster episode we did. While this is neither of those, being able to kind of start fresh is in that same kind of spirit, I feel. So yeah, have fun with that. Let me know how that is. I know a bunch of people will probably jump on, and I'm curious to know how long that will keep up. Like, how big of a demand will that have? Like those types of servers with that classic vanilla game. Will people like jump on and be hooked for like 2 or 3 weeks? or will they be like driven to reach some kind of like max level end game scenario, and what do you do next? Do you then just roll back into the traditional game and continue playing there, or are we going to see a slow release of the original expansions upon those servers, and as well as maintaining just basic vanilla servers as well as the main game? It's a curious thing they're going to be kind of figuring out as they go forward. But yeah, thanks again, Ryan. Here was another message we had from my wife, Nicole.
Hey guys, Nicole calling. First of all, why am I only barely hearing about Dark Cloud on PS4, Darren? Please tell me. And second of all, I think that I would like to, both Nintendo games, I would like a reboot or revival, if you will, of Pikmin and Paper Mario. That would be super awesome, and I'd have so much fun. All right, thanks, guys.
I don't know why you were just hearing about Dark Cloud. We actually had this conversation in real life after you made this call and you got home from work that day. They re-released it on PS4 as one of those PS2 like remastered, with trophy enabled types of games with Dark Cloud 2. And I had it. I purchased it. It was sitting around on the PS4 in like December of 2015 or November of 2015. I forget the original release date, but it was available. I started the game up. I think I did the entire first town. I spent like 2 hours in it or so, and then didn't resume playing it. I think we were moving around or something. Maybe I don't know. I don't know why it was that I stopped playing it. But for whatever reason, I picked it back up again and continued playing it a few weeks ago in November, December, and just decided to set out and get the platinum trophy for that game, which I don't do often. I think it's because I just continued to play it, and I saw the trophy list and realized what it entailed, and there was just a few trophies that you'd kind of have to grind out and do some side things to get, but it was very possible. And like, I'm not one of those crazy completionists or trophy hunters, but if it's, a game that I love, or if it's, like kind of obtainable without like a crazy drive yourself insane grind, I like to try and do it. So I managed to do it last year with Horizon Zero Dawn, and then I closed out the year with getting that platinum trophy on Dark Cloud. So I love that game. I mean, that's a game that I want Sony to bring back for sure. After like going through and playing that, just continuing that concept or evolving that kind of build your town RPG like hybrid was just like a super fun game. Like, I think that's a whole topic I want to talk about one day, is like the idea that Sony puts out some of these games that are like obvious ripoffs, but they're actually not that. Like, as far back as like, Crash Team Racing that Naughty Dog put out, that while yes, it was a kart racing game and it was a response to the popularity of them, created by like, other games and driven to popularity by like Mario Kart, it itself established like really original concepts and was one of the best kart racing games of all time. And I don't think a lot of people realize that or even give it credit for that, because it just sounds like it's some kind of Sony clone. Or when actually Ryan spoke on it, but PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, that was, it definitely on the surface looks like a Smash Brothers clone, and that was clearly the inspiration for the origins of its development, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be a bad game or an uninspired game. It had concepts and design elements that actually made it kind of stand on its own and be a really entertaining game. Like Dark Cloud got that same flack, originally on. It looked like, Sony was trying to rip off like a Legend of Zelda or have their own kind of, 3D adventure. And well, definitely that is in its seed like of the game. It's a lot more than that. There's other mechanics that Zelda's never done, and there's really cool gameplay elements in it that haven't really been done since. That was made it such a fun game. So, I mean, I get why some people like strayed away from it or maybe want to laugh at it at its surface, but I wish that some people would spend some time with some of these types of games and actually see there's actually a lot of like good stuff out of it. And that's why there's people like me who are, weird diehard Sony fanboys, because you get so many types of these gameplay experiences, and we'll spend the time with them to fall in love with them and find those, the reasons that they're, kind of timeless. But yeah, thanks, Nicole. But as far as your comment on responding to our remakes, remasters, you want to see a revival of Pikmin and Paper Mario. Like, I think that would be cool. I mean, I felt it was weird that the Wii forever was like designed to like totally play or like have a game like Pikmin be on it, and all it got was those like Wii Play Control re-releases. And then it wasn't until the Wii U that Pikmin 3 came out, but I feel like that's already been forgotten because of the Wii U's lack of success. But seeing how the Switch is getting so many ports and re-releases of their like kind of bigger named or potentially missed Wii U titles coming over to the Switch, it would be cool to see that Pikmin 3 maybe be re-released on Switch, so that is a chance to be played by a bunch of people. And definitely, new Pikmin games could be cool because that's a good fun concept and a good fun mix of like balance of kind of challenge, but also charm and everything too. So I definitely want to see more Pikmin games. Paper Mario, I don't know. That's always had a weird history with me. I played a little bit of Super Mario RPG on Super Nintendo, but really I didn't really start liking those games until they got kind of splintered out in the Mario and Luigi like Superstar Saga, which was like a spiritual relation to Mario RPG, but not quite the same gameplay on Game Boy Advance. It was super fun, and then that series kind of continued to get kind of watered down, easier, and simplified, and so I kind of fell out of that. But then they continued Paper Mario on Nintendo 64, which felt like it was a continuation of Mario RPG, and that series evolved into something different. So there isn't like a traditional like continue that RPG formula of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga or the original Super Mario RPG, which, does there need to be? No, but I think a lot of people would like that rather than these kind of like odd spin-offs or like the sticker paper offshoot or the handheld Mario and Luigi series. But that could be one that I would like to play more and see more of. I mean, with the Switch, you kind of have not quite a console, not quite a handheld, but clearly both. So what franchise will continue there? The console style Paper Mario one or that handheld Mario and Luigi series? Because both could make sense on that screen and in that portable fashion, like people will play it. So balls in your court, Nintendo. You will let me down most likely, but you have a chance to win over a bunch of new fans with some of these games if you give them a shot again. Just saying. But yes, with that, those are the two outdated voicemails we've had. Again, appreciate those calls, Nicole and Ryan. For anybody else who wants to call in, the voicemail line's a simple phone number you call into. You just leave a recorded message, and we'll be able to listen back to that and add that to one of these episodes or respond to it to kind of keep the conversation going with you guys. You can call into that number at 605-777-0433. It's the best way to kind of reach out to us. We do have like Twitter and Instagram accounts at NowLoadingCast, and on Facebook you can find us at facebook.com/NowLoadingCast. And those social media things work too. But as always, I think the best way to do it is just to kind of get your voice, recorded to digital formats, and we are able to kind of download that and play that back super easy. So definitely take advantage of that. Do that. We love hearing from you guys. Thanks to everybody who's called so far through all the previous episodes. Please continue to do so. But yeah, so I want to spend the rest of the time, I guess, on this little mini quick bite touch base. I was just thinking about it the other day, this obscure PlayStation 1 game, but do you ever just get like that flashback, that memory of like an old game you played and loved, and you've just like clearly forgotten about, but there's just something that reminds you of it? But I remember like my brother and I, we played a demo of this game a lot before we got the full game, but it was called Omega Boost. It was like a PS1 like mech like space shooter type of thing. It was really good. It had like really good graphics, and it was like late in the life of the original PlayStation, but it was super fun. Just like it was short and sweet. There wasn't anything like crazy in depth you had to unlock over hours of gameplay, and there wasn't like a huge variety to it, but it was just enough. I can see people being upset, maybe paying full price for a game and only having like the 9 levels that it had in it, but it was really different. It was just like a fun, polished, like a all-around well-designed like space simulator action game. But the odd thing when I started thinking about it, though, was I was looking back and I couldn't remember. I mean, it was a Sony published game, but I didn't remember the developer, and I thought it was Polyphony Digital, who like the Gran Turismo creators, but that didn't make any sense because all they've done is Gran Turismo games. But it actually was a polyphony, which was just like super weird. Like, if you look at their history of development, they had like before they were technically polyphony, they did like these Motor Tune Grand Prix games, which were kind of like super animated, like racing games with like kind of strange physics to them, not realistic at all, completely cartoony and wild. And they got the Gran Turismo like opportunity, and they did, obviously they've done that since then. They've done like way too many, Gran Turismo titles and nothing else. I guess I say too many. No, I think they should continue to do them. But Omega Boost being this like strange sci-fi space story, robots, action game, shooter, has nothing to do with realistic driving simulators or realistic driving physics. So it was really odd that they did that. But I guess that was early on. Maybe they considered as a developer to do other types of games. But after that, it was immediately back to the grind, and they did Gran Turismo 2, a couple years later Gran Turismo 3, a couple years later some Gran Turismo like concepts and stuff, and then the Gran Turismo 4 prologue, and then the main Gran Turismo 4. They even did that motorcycle like spin-off game Tourist Trophy that was clearly just like trying to bring that realistic driving but to motorcycles. And then, Gran Turismo HD and 5, 6, etc. They've never even hinted at wanting to do anything different. But if you guys remember that game at all, it was one of those ones. I think that demo was just like one level, but we played it over and over and over again. But yeah, if you've ever thought back about a random game, or do you remember a random game from your childhood that you've just essentially nearly forgotten, but if you think back and flex those brain muscles, what do you remember? What's an odd one that stands out? It doesn't have to be one that's like a super amazing, game of the year style game, but what was one that you kind of remember that's always lingering there in the back of your head that you've played a lot? If you've got one of those games, call into that voicemail line. Let us know what that is. We'll kind of talk about that. It was just kind of funny that game popped into my head. I think I was watching some weird like kind of retro gamer type of YouTube channel, and it made me kind of think of that one, because there was a lot of games like that in its time, but this kind of broke the mold from being on rails to allowing you to kind of 3D explore and everything in space, but just had like a really cool polish. But right there, it was right at the end of PlayStation 1, so the PS2 was going to launch like the next year, so people were already kind of done with that. The Dreamcast was just around the corner, so people were kind of moving on to these different experiences, but this kind of that kind of surprised people. I don't remember ever really seeing any like marketing or advertising for it either. But yeah, I think that's going to do it then. I did want to just get something going, because I promised to both Rich and I, we were going to set aside time, and just things haven't lined up. So I'll be doing more of these. Like I said, I wanted to have some kind of themes and be designed for, those 15-minute kind of breaks at work. You can easily just kind of plug in some earbuds and listen to something like this, just to kind of get yourself thinking about some old gaming memories, or kind of ask out some questions that you can maybe answer and call in on your free time, so that we can talk about those on the main episodes. I already have decided on my next what the next episode will be. It will be me kind of defending Sony's blatant rip-off titles that people like to think that they are, but really kind of talking about what made them kind of unique and what makes them worth your time and what makes them worth the effort for development. So yeah, thanks guys for listening to this quick one. This is just Darren again. Like I said, Rich and I will be back together on a main episode here pretty shortly, as soon as we possibly can record. And we look forward to hearing more back from you guys. Have a good one.